Alright, this video is Chapter 0, Lesson 8, Area. We're going to do the area of rectangles, parallelograms, squares, and triangles. We'll also do circles in a little bit. So what I'm going to do over here in this space is I'm going to show you the formula, and then I'm going to work it out. You need to go grab your notes, take notes on what the formulas I'm giving you. And then you also need some paper to practice the questions I'm going to give you. All right, so we're going to start with the rectangle. Area of rectangles is length times width. And now that you're in algebra, we don't really use a X sign anymore. We just smush the letters together. And when we smush them together, that means multiplication. So my first line of work would say 5 times 12. My second line of work would say 60. My label would be inches with a tiny 2 and exponent 2 because this is a two-dimensional shape. Perimeter was one-dimensional. You were just building a fence. Area, you're growing the garden inside. So it's a two-dimensional space, and so we have to notate that with the label inches squared. All right, on this on this parallelogram, we have some extra numbers because if I wanted to do perimeter, the numbers I need are 8 and 20. 8 and 20. If I were doing perimeter, I would be going around the shape. But I don't want 8 and 20 this time. I want to take this triangle piece and move it over here and create a rectangle. So I don't want 8 anymore, I want 7 and 20. And we're going to call the 7 the height and 20 the base. So the formula goes like this. Area equals base times height, BH smushed together. 20 is the base. 7 is the height. So I'm going to multiply them together, and I'm not using 8 this time. I would use 8 for perimeter. I'm not using 8 for area. 20 times 7, area equals 140 inches squared. All right, my square, the formula says that the area is side squared. Another way you can write it is side times side. My first line of work would say 11 squared, or my first line of work could say 11 times 11. My second line of work is the answer to that, which is 121. My label, centimeters squared. Okay, I'm going to move these triangles up. Here we go. For triangles, a triangle is half of a square or half of a rectangle. So it's going to look really similar. The formula will look similar to that rectangle. Rectangle, or parallelogram, I guess I should say. The parallelogram was base times height, but the triangle is half of that. So I'm going to put a 1/2 in front. Notice that they're all smushed together, which means we're going to multiply. Over here, I gave you too many numbers because you would need all those numbers for perimeter. You would need all of these numbers for perimeter. Perimeter would be 9 plus 12 plus 9. However, some of these numbers are going to be extra. In this case, 4 is the base, 3 is the height. 3 is how tall it is from bottom to top. 5, therefore, is extra. We don't need it. We need it for perimeter. We don't need it for area. So I'm going to come over here to work this one out. 1/2 times 3 times 4. And it doesn't really matter, base and height, multiplication, you can change the order, no big deal. So I just wrote 3 times 4, but you could do 4 times 3. Now you're going to have some options. I'm going to show right down here the other option. So some students like to multiply first. They multiply 3 times 4 or whatever the two numbers are. And so their work is going to say 1/2 of 12, which is 6. Some people like to take the half right away. They want to half one of the numbers, especially if you have a big number. So 1/2 of 4 is 2. rewrite the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Both ways I get 6. Let me recap that again. This option up here is you're going to multiply first, then cut it in half. This option down here, you're going to cut something in half, then you're going to multiply. Either way, it's okay, whichever one you like better. All right, if I worked this one out, I would say 1/2 times the base times the height. 12 and 8 make up the base and height. The base and height will always be perpendicular to each other. They'll make an L or a 90-degree angle. The 9s are necessary for perimeter, but not for area. Okay, so first option is I could multiply first. So 1/2 times 96, which is 48. The other option is to take half of something first. So I could take half of 12 or I could take half of 8. I think I'll take half of 12. Half of 12 is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. So there's multiple ways your brain can think about this. You can take half of something or you can multiply then take half. One thing I want to stress is that I need to see your work. So your work should take up 2 lines. Your work is going to take up 2 lines. When you get down to triangles, it's going to take up 3 lines. But you need to work down the paper, and I need to see your work. Even though you could probably look at this square and go, area is 121, boom. Area 60, boom. We're practicing a procedure, so I need to see all the work on your paper. All right, let's talk area of circles. Area of circles. So the formula for area of circles is pi r squared. Pi stands for 3.14. You can push the pi button. R stands for radius, and we're going to square the radius. Some circles are going to give us a diameter. If they give us the diameter, cut it in half because we only want this piece of it. We just want the radius. So I'm going to give us a diameter of 10, and it'll be inches. So my first line of work is going to say A equals pi times 10 squared. Second line of work is going to say pi. I messed up. So see, I just said we're going to use the radius, and what did I do? I used the whole diameter. So, oopsie but oopsies. We're going to take 5 squared. Because I don't want the whole 10, I only want the radius. The radius is half of the 10. Okay, back to my question. My next line is going to say pi times 25. So when I multiply 3.14 or pi times 25, that's going to equal 78.5 inches squared. So let's count. That took 1, 2, 3 lines of work to figure out the area of the circle. All right, now I'd like you to go to Google Classroom and open up the form where you can type in your answers. So I've got these 2 questions. So the questions are not from the textbook. The questions are right here in the video. And you're going to find the area of these 2 shapes. Type in your answer. And for the sake of the Google form, let's leave off, or no, I know what we should do. We should write the label like millimeters with a 2 at the end. You're not going to be able to make the 2 tiny and up high when you're typing it in, but we'll write millimeters with a 2, and this label will be feet with a 2. That way it won't count you wrong. We'll all be doing it the same way. All right, good luck.